Okay, Sam, I just, did, well, I was able to get your Weedeater wound up, and I just did a test run of it, and see, it's feeding fine right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take that rotor back apart, and I'll go ahead and show you how to wind this thing, from the best of my knowledge. First of all, Sam, what I want to clarify is your Weedeater takes .080 inch string. So when you're buying string for it, you'll definitely, want to make sure it's .080 inches. And I even read about, your 80-volt Weedeater, on the Lowe's website, and that's exactly, the size Lowe's says to use is .080, and when I got your Weedeater, did not, have enough string in the spool for me to, well, do the test. So what I did is I used this, it's called Ugly Line, and I still own this .080 from a previous Weedeater model that I owned years ago, and I'm using it in your Kobalt to do the test run. But I mean, if you're not happy with it, I mean, you can feel free to just take out the string I wound up and maybe just use your Kobalt brand. But as long as it's .080, it should work. All right, and what I do to, measure the length of, my line is, well, for my Ego Weedeater and all other Weedeaters, I'll do 2 arm lengths, about like that, and I'll measure it out and, and cut it from the package. And then what you can also do is, well, once you have your line cut out, is you can just, well, keep these ends together and do like this, and then bend it, well, in the approximate center right there, and that will give you a better idea of where it needs to be when it's in the, once it's in the spool. And I tell you, Sam, I mean, the rotor on your Weedeater is not as user friendly as my Ego Weedeater, as far as when it comes to, taking it apart and putting it back together. I mean, see, so far it seems a bit more of a struggle, but you just, of course, you may already know that, but you got these, holes right here, well, right there, well, with the, of course, the groove that lines up with the hole, and put it in like that. Should come out the other end like that, and just thread it through until, well, get to where the bend is. And also, and Sam, and the best other way I made this out is, before you reassemble that, you gotta make sure that this knob right here is nice and flush. You can just well, put it on the end and, well, kind of turn it until it clicks, and we gotta, you know, keep that, you know, flush right here. Nice and flush. And then you just, what you'll want to do is line up your string ends right here, well, with these square outlets right here. And you'll want to make sure, well, in doing so, that the bump knob, you know, continues to stay flush with the spool. And then now we're going to go ahead and try and reassemble. And I'm a little bit camera shy, so I hope I do this as well on camera as I, well, just did it by myself. And alright, there we go. And you'll want to make sure that the string goes inside these metal fittings right there in the center on each end. Very crucial that before you push this back together that, well, these strings are right inside the center of this kind of round metal fitting. And hold on a minute. It's a little bit tricky, but you may kind of have to finger it around to like get it right in the center and press it back together like that. And well, and make sure everything's put together back nice and flush. Everything looks even. And watch this. I mean, once this is like put back together correctly as shown, turn your rotor, you know, counterclockwise. Keep turning. And that will feed the string right in. Of course, we're getting close, and we'll just, of course, you can kind of just measure it out to the blade there and get some scissors to cut it with. So, but I'm gonna get this. Well, I'm just gonna actually, you know, wind it in a little bit more about there, because we want it nice and short to do the test run. Another thing I would like to point out, Sam, is whenever you're bumping for more string, and make sure you're actually doing it on the ground. I mean, don't do it on concrete, because, you know, if you bump for more string on, like, you know, a really hard surface like concrete, I mean, that's something that can also, you know, be detrimental to the rotor of the Weedeater. And go ahead and do the test run. And it's raining outside now, so I'm gonna, you know, try and do the test run in my living room. So we're gonna see how this plays out. Okay, that cardboard box on the floor is gonna be the prop, because I'm using it as, like, you know, bumping surface, because I would do it outside, but it's rain. But I want to make sure I'm, you know, bumping the Weedeater on a soft surface. And so we'll see if this works. Here goes nothing. Got the cord nice and short, so Yeah. And Sam, try not to, bump it real hard, just about the same amount of pressure that it took for me to get it to feed right now. Gotta make sure you're not, providing, too much abuse with, the bumping also. Just enough for you to, notice a string that coming out in about the same amount of pressure as I did. And hopefully your weed eater is now, fixed, Sam. And just be sure and, save the link to this video. You can always revert back to this tutorial if you're ever confused. And I hope it will, feed for you and continue to work. If not, we'll see what else we can do. And as I've told you before, if at any time you decide you don't want this Kobalt Weedeater, then I want it. And also, and I also have, that Black & Decker that I told you about. If you don't become satisfied with your Kobalt, but I fixed it the best I can. So we'll see where we go from here. And now you can feel free to finally make arrangements to pick up your weed eater. Of course, got the battery and charger to give back to you as well. And I'll go ahead and let you keep the universal head, for backup. If, the rotor fails. Hope this helps.